everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Stonecraft. This is episode 2. With you again are your hosts, Quinn and Riley.
Hello fans. It's
Hello
me,
fans.
I wish I was Bill Murray.
Bill Murray is pretty great.
I wish I had his voice.
Do you ever see St. Vincent?
I didn't.
I enjoyed it. It was fine. It was a cute movie.
Who did that one?
I don't know. I believe he had something come out this year too, though, or 2017 technically.
Was that No. I don't know. I don't know anything about that movie, but I've seen something about it.
Oh, that's your controller. So when that dies, you can plug that one. When it dies, just plug that one in and take the one that's up there.
Okay.
You came prepared for this, don't you? Don't you fret, audience.
Don't worry, folks. So let's talk about movies. Right, movies?
Yes.
If you want to talk about let's give these viewers some background on where we are, on who we are, I guess.
My name is Quinn. I'm from San Diego. We are both, Riley and I, if you could not tell, we're both really into movies. We're both studying right now. We're at a film school. I don't know. Yeah, so let's keeping up with questions of what's your favorite movie. Why don't you talk about the movie that inspired you? That will also give you some insight into who we are. What made you want to become a director, Riley?
Definitely. Let's see. It's interesting because there's a lot of moments I think that kind of led to actually wanting to make films. And to be honest, I didn't really think of films as something that I would be interested in making, or even watching in a being more interested in them until about the end of high school, which is kind of interesting because I know a lot of people that want to become filmmakers, always like films, but I didn't really. But because I kind of grew up without film, we didn't have TV and stuff in my house, but after high school I watched Twin Peaks, the original series.
Which is a great show. We were both fans of Twin Peaks, so Twin Peaks fans, give us a shout out.
Twin Peaks fans, Kyle MacLachlan, give us a shout out.
Kyle MacLachlan, if you ever want to come on the show, just let us know. I would be honored to have you. I would also be honored to have you be my dad. So that's always another option. If you ever want another son, I'm right here. Please, Kyle.
So yeah, I watched Twin Peaks and I saw Interstellar. I know was a big thing.
I also love my own dad. I love you too, Dad, if you're watching this, which hopefully you're not. Anyway, Interstellar.
Yeah, I saw Interstellar. I watched Twin Peaks around that time, and I started reading kind of more about IMDb pages of movies and just kind of looking through that and subscribing to subreddits about films, I guess. So that was probably the beginning of that, and God, it's really hard to destroy a place with fire. I mean, it's not hard, it just takes a lot more. But then I also then I got kind of into Quentin Tarantino, and I started watching his stuff, and then I got really started following the production of The Hateful Eight, which was a big part of that. And then I moved to New Mexico, where I just took pictures a lot and watched movies because I didn't have anything else to do, and that kind of led to that. So I watched Under the Skin was the first time I saw that was there. Melancholia. I got really into Lars von Trier, kind of as a reason to go into filmmaking. He kind of gave me, I think, the first kind of I think the thing about Lars von Trier is that he's kind of art house, but he's art house in a very understandable way.
Yeah.
It's not super hard to figure out what he's kind of trying to say, but it isn't, it's not surface level either. So it has a lot of things that I like about like kind of more philosophical musings, like in Nymphomaniac, is filled with just like, you know, direct exposition of questions, I guess,
right,
and like thought. So I like that. I like that as my first kind of introduction to more art movies taken as a genre, which kind of gave me my main interest in art film, which is what I think I like the best in terms of, like, rather than experimental, which is kind of the whole fragmented thing, like, you know, not telling a story linear. I like art film because it kind of does tell a linear story, but it is done in a very like you know.
Yeah, I know. I definitely know what you mean. That's interesting because I never actually like specifically thought about you, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's what I like, art films.
Yeah.
Art film. Sometimes I have trouble with my R's, Quinn, and I hate it. But
art film fans, give us a shout out.
What,
oh God,
what about
please.
You, Quinn?
I'd say for me, the thing that, oh God.
What?
This creeper is like, if it even tries to do anything.
They won't hurt you in Korea.
They don't? Why even have
unless
them?
you attack it.
Anyway, for me, I think my like introduction, my interest with filmmaking definitely started with Tim Burton. Actually, he was like the first person that was like he was the first person that I was a big fan of Tim Burton. Mainly because like growing up, I was very like, I don't know, I was like a weird kid. I like was kind of like, I don't know, I was like, I mean, I had friends, but I wasn't like popular necessarily, and it was just kind of like this thing where so, and like Tim Burton was kind of like, I don't know, for me growing up, it was kind of like this, all his movies dealt with like being kind of like the weird goth kid. I wasn't necessarily goth, but like they all focus on like weird characters mainly. Yeah. Obviously, as everyone knows, like Tim Burton's obviously like one of the most well-known directors. But anyway, so like that was kind of like my big thing. Like I loved like those kinds of movies. I loved Beetlejuice, and like he was definitely the one that made me want to be like a storyteller necessarily. Like I didn't necessarily. I wanted to make movies because like that's just what he did. But like at the same time, it was like I just wanted to do anything that could tell those kinds of stories. Those kinds of like weird, quirky, like underdog type stories, I guess.
Right.
It was particularly, I think it was particularly Ed Wood that like when I was gonna watch that was kind of like specifically like, oh, okay, I want to be filmmaking because it looks fun. And then after that, so yeah, Tim Burton was like kind of a main one. I loved his stories. I really wanted to make like those like stories with that tone, and I was kind of filmmaking was just the natural thing. I think the movie that really made me specifically be like, okay, no, filmmaking specifically, the art I want to go into was my other like favorite movie about making movies, which is Ed Wood, American Movie, and that was the other guy that like I very particularly like related to, and I was like, oh, this like this looks so much. I mean, it looks terrible, but it also looks really fun. And then basically after that, that was around the time I was in middle school, and that was also around the time I actually started like making my own films and movies and stuff. And that was also just really fun because it was like super, and it was just this one thing where it was the first thing I feel like I ever did where it wasn't easy. Like I definitely was like constantly tired and like exhausted and panicking doing it. But it was the first time where I never ever wanted to do something else. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like I tried to play music. I played music for a while. Yeah. And I love music. And music I think is like the most like amazing thing to have ever come out of humanity. But like I hated going to music lessons, and it was always like it was a chore to like study music.
Drop my lava.
Not that music again, like not that music's bad, but for me like it just didn't have this immediate connection. Whereas like for the most part, no matter how tired or how exhausting a film has ever been for me, I've always just enjoyed working on it. I've never like regretted spending time on it. So right. That was kind of like my big moment, like realization that was kind of the art form that I should focus on. Because like, again, like I was into Tim Burton. I also tried to draw a lot, and all my drawings were very Tim Burton-esque, and were also very and I didn't like doing it. It was like I would make they were very simple drawings because I wasn't good at like getting that much detail in it. Right. Whereas with film, like I would like spend hours editing something, and I would never, and like even when it was technically done, I'd still want to keep working on it because it was just it as tiresome as it could be, I still enjoy doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that is my journey into film. That is my, I think it's like just attracts, like again, like I think it's
there were
amazing.
people in that house.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a mass murderer, quit. I'm Nick Charles Manson. Anyways, go on.
Yes, like that, like it really, and yeah, like I think the thing that I'm realizing talking about this is that, yeah, like it really is like no matter what, you and I probably would have been creative people, depending on like no matter what we went into, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Like we like even like if we weren't filmmakers, we probably would have been like writers or like you'd be a photographer or something like that.
I would have definitely been a writer, photographer, journalist, something about those. Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for the fact that I don't know how to, if I could write music and if I didn't have that issue like you just mentioned with story with like actually playing instruments, because like it hurt actually, it physically hurt to like strum guitars.
I took guitar lessons and I was like, nah.
Yeah,
not really.
exactly.
I mean, I know if you really want, you can obviously you'll get past that and stuff. But like, I just didn't want to that much.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's like for me, it was all about. I think I said like honestly, as much as I love film and as much as I really do like want to be a filmmaker above anything else, if I had the confidence and the ability, I would actually want to be a stand-up comedian. If I felt like I was funny enough, and if I felt like but again, like that's another thing where it's like I would also
be a filmmaker and comedian.
Yeah, I could do that, but I don't. The thing is, it's not that I don't think I could be a stand-up comedian because like I don't think I'm funny enough and be like, you know, all stand-up comedians are like depressed and have issues with being on stage, but also like I cannot imagine living an existence where like having those issues and still having to make an entire career out of the thing that you suffer with.
Right.
So like I love stand-up comedians. I love the stand-up comedy world. I mean, minus all the terrible parts of it.
Did you like that show?
I'm Dying Up Here?
Yeah.
I loved I'm Dying Up Here.
I should check it out.
But yeah, so like
yeah, I think that's fair to say.
So yeah, like if I wasn't going into movies, I'd still would probably have gone into some other art form because it's more about we're not making movies for the sake of making movies. We're making movies because we know that that's like the place for us to do what we want to do. If that makes sense.
Yes, I think it allows us to, because there's a difference in like there's a difference between like people who, you know, some people are more expressive than others, and some people want to say something, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas some people want to do something, I guess, you know what I mean? So.
Everybody has creativity in their soul, and if you want to access it, all you gotta do is just work towards it.
And watch Minecraft, Stonecraft.
Yeah. What do you think about Minecraft as an art form? As a tool for creativity?
Honestly, I was playing survival the other night, and I had my headphones in. It was a quiet, it was quiet in the room, so it was like not distracting. And I was just like surviving, and it's so quiet. There's no like birds, or anything. There's no wind in the trees and stuff. So it was like a weirdly soothing experience just hearing my footsteps and like building and digging and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it made me kind of see Minecraft in a new way. It's that it kind of. Video games can be, as creative and like artful as other things as film can. And I think that's what me and Nick were saying, that video games are probably like the next step in terms of art.
Oh yeah, I definitely think
because, just like Lyle was talking about the new wave, seeing film as art, seeing film as art and more than just something, seeing it as like literature, and the same as music and literature, stuff like that, and painting and stuff. Video games are after film, obviously. I think that makes sense, and I think it can be seen now if you like look at the kind of games that are coming out. Like if you look at some of those like art games,
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And like then there's like those just like simple ones too.
I definitely think. Have you seen? Did you ever watch that documentary I showed you called Indie Game the Movie?
Huh?
Indie Game the Movie.
Oh, you told me about it. I didn't.
I gave you a copy. Yeah, that's the one that. It's one that when I got it, it came with 3 different copies.
Yeah, I haven't
like,
watched it yet.
It is a very good documentary. I really enjoyed it. It's about fans of Indie Game the Movie. Give us a shout out. For those who don't know, Indie Game the Movie is a documentary about the making of Super Meat Boy, not Limbo, Fez, and Braid. I have not played Braid. I have played Super Meat Boy though.
What's Braid?
It is an independent. It is just some small little like.
What's it about?
I'm not entirely sure. It's something about. It's like a platform. It's like a Mario type game, but it's like very insightful and deep.
Are you a ball of yarn?
No, you're not. You are like a little. You're like a man. I've never played it. It has to do with like time travel or something.
It's a man that is a little ball of yarn.
No, he is not a little ball of yarn.
Are you sure?
I am pretty sure.
There's a game. I don't know what it's called, but it sounds like that exact game. It's like it's like a Mario like platform game, but it's also like super like emotionally like powerful.
We should watch Indie Game the Movie.
We should.
I think it's interesting because I feel like the three filmmakers that they follow are very similar to us. But yeah, it's them talking about just how like that is their art form and like that is where their passion goes and how like to them, again it's like I was saying, like to them like it was like they definitely wanted to make something and like they realized that video games were like the perfect opportunity, the perfect medium for them to tell their stories and like show their emotions.
Huh.
Yeah, Riley and I are big movie fans. We're big art fans.
What's your favorite any
any
what's
art?
something that artistically expressed an artistic thing that your favorite thing?
I'd probably say stand-up comedy and like comedy is an art form and music.
Music. Right.
Yes, again, like if I had any idea how to make music, if I feel like if I was talented enough to express myself through music, that would 100% be what I'd want to do. This was terrible.
What are you doing?
I'm just building like a giant mansion, and I was like, it's so expansive and so huge, it's gonna look great. And then I'm looking back and I realize how like lopsided it is, because like I'm building around this lake.
That's what I used to do when I first played Minecraft. Did I show you my survival house?
Yes, you did.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
What about you, Riley? What is your favorite? What do you think is your favorite art form aside from film?
Even when I couldn't do it myself, do you think? Like, just like
yes,
in general?
yeah, just in general. Like what? Like if you could imagine for 1 second that you are like you're like the Renaissance man. You can do any art you want. Like which one do you think you'd gravitate to? Other than film, because I think that's kind of what we're getting at. It's like film is like not only the one that we feel like we're interested in, but also the ones that like we feel like best expresses what we want.
Yeah. I don't know. Acting is really cool to me when you look at it like that.
I've been getting more into acting. I actually enjoy. I used to hate being on camera, but now I don't love it.
I don't want to ever be on camera. I just respect the hell out of a good actor. Like
yeah,
it's so much harder than I initially kind of thought. You know.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking like when you see a good actor, it's a completely like you realize that it's not just anyone can do this. You know, you don't. My whole like thing about what I thought kind of acting was like, what would I do in this situation? Like up until
right.
Like you just kind of act like how you would act, but I always forget that like you have to like become that character to an extent, and know how they would react. And that's I can't fathom that because I'm not good at acting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not good at pretending to be someone else. And I don't just mean method acting. I just mean any, you know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about method acting? Method actors, give us a shout out.
Method acting community. Heath Ledger, give us a shout out. I like method acting. I feel like it can go too far, and I feel like method acting in its honest form is good.
Yeah.
I feel like there's obviously controversial opinion, but I feel like Jared Leto gives method acting a bad name because he's the kind of person that does it more for the news of it rather than actually trying to legitimately get into the character. Because again, like classic example, the Joker, the Joker would giving dead animals and like doing all the stuff he does. The Joker has nothing to do with being a method actor. Like it has nothing to do with like what he had played no role in getting him better, making his performance of the Joker better. It only played a role in getting him more news. And so either he's an idiot and just didn't realize and just like doesn't actually understand how real acting works. I'm sure people are gonna love hearing me say that.
The thing is, Jared Leto has been a method actor all his life.
But if those are his, before. So that which makes me think that either he has always been doing it, not understanding how method acting works, or he was 100% just doing it for the attention.
Yeah, I don't know if he fully knows how to method act, like because I think he doesn't understand what it's supposed to be, where like because for the John Lennon assassination.
Oh yeah, that one.
For the Mark Chapman film, I forget what it's called actually.
I do too.
Shout out. I didn't. He just got really fat, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
That's all that went into that.
That's all that I know about.
Yeah, that's Jared Leto for you. He gets really fat for a role. Like, I'm sure also probably because like the role deserves it, but also because he knows that that's gonna get him attention. Same thing with like I'm like playing. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Dallas Buyers Club. I've not seen it yet. I still have not seen Dallas Buyers Club, but looking at like the interviews from it, I kind of feel like Jared Leto, like it was also a publicity stunt for him to just get attention for playing a transgender character, while also like getting to basically do the opposite of the movie and like lose a ton of weight because he knew that would get him a lot of attention. Not a fan of Jared Leto, if you couldn't tell. Jared Leto fans, give us a shout out.
I like Jared Leto. Jared Leto's a good actor, I think, in both Blade Runner 2049 and Requiem for a Dream.
I think Jared Leto is a great actor in Requiem for a Dream. I think he was miscast in Blade Runner 2049.
I don't think he was miscast. I think he was a good choice. I think obviously David Bowie would have been much more interesting and much more diverse, I think. But for what I think, basically how I look at it is I think Jared Leto did still embody a character in probably a much less interesting way, but he still was very much a part of that world, and I appreciated that while he didn't necessarily add as much to the story as a David Bowie casting would have, he didn't take anything away from it. And I love Blade Runner 2049, so I don't want anything to harm it. And I like Jared Leto. I think he's an idiot, and I think he makes a lot of shitty music and a lot of dumb decisions,
music.
But I like him as a dude.
Jared Leto fans, subscribe to our channel for Riley. Jared Leto haters, subscribe to our channel for me. So cool.
We covered both our bases.
Everyone who has an opinion on Jared Leto, you better be subscribed to our channel. If I ever hear anyone talk about Jared Leto and they're not subscribed to 72 Hairless Fish, then you know what?
Who else is there? Let's talk about religion.
Great.
How is religion for you? I think coming from a background of religion, whereas I only know what I have read, basically, and understood from my parents.
I think religion is definitely a great thing for a lot of people. I think it has also been undeniably corrupted by a lot of other people. Ultimately, I think that if what you believe works for you, and yeah, like it doesn't actually like, yeah, you're just minding your own business. You're doing your thing. You can obviously talk about it. I don't agree with like people saying like we should like ban religion or that we should like censor it necessarily, unless of course like it actually is harmful. But if what works for you, then that's awesome. And if you're able to look at it from an objective standpoint and acknowledge when you're a little strange, then that's great. well, like again, like, and I know that's kind of like a touchy subject, but from what I understand, the response from the Mormon community about Book of Mormon, which is very like scathingly humorous, like very like scathingly like crude about it,
Yeah.
has actually been fairly positive. Because even though they disagree with it, I know a lot of Mormons are like, you know what, I still think it's funny. If anything, I think, and like it's still raising awareness for us, and like it's obviously still coming from a good place. So that's awesome.
Huh.
If you can do that, as long as you can laugh at it, then I think it's cool.
My dad likes it. He was Mormon, but obviously he stopped being Mormon when he was 20 or 19.
And I also know that at the same time there's a lot of people who are not like. There are also a lot of other people who are not fans of Book of Mormon and are Mormon.
Oh, I'm
which
sure.
is also fine. Like, again, like just I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get
Right.
what you mean.
This conversation will continue in the next episode of Stonecraft. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in this time. See you later.